My name is Roberta Blevins, and I'm a pyramid scheme and cult survivor turned advocate and educator. I share education and information about scams on the internet. In 2015, I was introduced to a company called LuLaRoe. What happened was I became pretty successful in the company, grew and climbed the ranks in the pyramid and sort of saw what was going on. And through a series of unfortunate events, I ended up leaving the company and sort of becoming a whistleblower and exposing their scam to the world. So when LuLaRoe came into my life, I was a young mom. I was a new wife. I was very vulnerable. I cannot stress that enough. Very, very vulnerable. And I was looking for pretty much the answer to all of my problems. And LuLaRoe came in, as MLMs often do, and promised me the world. They said they could solve every single problem that I had. And it very quickly sort of became my entire world and my entire personality. Again, as MLMs often do. And what happened was a really, really crazy wild ride, but I really just got into it because I needed something that, like I said, solved all my problems. So LuLaRoe is a company that sells clothes. They sell it direct to consultants like I was, and then those consultants sell it to you. So during my time in LuLaRoe, things were really fun. At least I thought they were. We were going on cruises, we were having parties, events, conventions, leadership trainings. I never really noticed any of the red flags, although they were very much there, until it basically hit me personally. I started noticing people that I knew and cared about were having trouble and struggles, and it made me want to look deeper into things. I started reading blogs, news articles, all the stuff they told me not to do. I was like 100% on it. I'm like, if you tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it 10 times more. So I'm reading these blogs and I'm reading these firsthand accounts of women who are struggling, and not just like, I can't sell leggings, like financial problems, like problems with their marriages and their lives. And again, like some of these women I knew personally. And so I started digging in because for me, I was like, this is not how a business is run. If this is truly a business, like what's going on here? Why are people like having such detrimental like results? Like what's going on? And, you know, there was a Facebook group I was told not to join again. So I joined it. And I spent the first week in there just crying because every single thing that had happened to me, I noticed had also happened to everyone else. And LuLaRoe had told me so many times that it was just me. It was my fault. It was it had only happened to me. It had happened to nobody else. And it was a one-off and I should just ignore it. And basically, you know, like I said, like I'm not going to ignore that stuff. And so digging in, I found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accounts of the same exact things happening that were happening to me to other women. And at that point, you know, you can't ignore that anymore. Toward the end of LuLaRoe, things were really bad. My mental health was really bad. The worst it had ever been. I had never experienced the anguish, the anxiety, the depression, the stress, the trauma. It was really, really hard. And again, I kept thinking like, this can't be a real business. Like a real business wouldn't let this happen. And that just, it was always in the back of my mind because I went into this thinking like, I can sell leggings, that's easy peasy. So when things like this would come out, that was very obvious that it wasn't a real business, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Like, I was like, something's going on other than a pyramid scheme. You know, like this is deeper than that. This goes deeper than just people selling leggings. Like there's a loyalty here. There's like a devotion here. You know, the leaders, Mark would say things and it would be just, I would have my jaw on the ground. Like, I can't believe he just said that to us. And then the higher ups would be like, well, you know, it's a blessing that he even takes his time out to talk to us. You know, you should be grateful and be thankful that he even spends his time talking to us at all. I'm like, but he's spending his time like belittling us and berating us. Like, I don't want to be thankful for that. And it was really the mental health aspect. Like I just could not handle it. Another thing that happened that was very cult-like that I again ignored and just thought like, whatever, was there had been some bad press. I don't know when it was, because there was literally always bad press. It's a scam. So there was some bad press, and at the time Deanne was feeling extra sad, right? And so, you know, she wasn't on social media. Deanne is the owner. She wasn't on social media. She didn't want to be involved because she was really sad, because there were haters. And there were people that were like sharing this article and tagging them. And it was a social media nightmare. You know, I get it. It happened all the time. So LuLaRoe let us know that Deanne was having a really bad day and that we needed to make gratitude posts for her. That the entire workforce had to basically stop what we were doing and create a post for social media about how grateful we are for Deanne. How wonderful she is, how much she's, you know, done for us, what her coming into our life has changed. So culty, never saw it at the time. I just thought, oh, I hate it when the haters come out and like hurt Deanne's feelings. I mean, I was so deep in, like, I had a Kool-Aid mustache. Like, it's not even funny, like how guzzling I was of this hogwash. This is a cult. It's absolutely a cult. And obviously from that point, I knew I couldn't be involved with it at all. And I started speaking out. And for me, I got ADHD. So I went straight to the research aspect. And I was like, what is a cult? What does that mean? How did this happen? How did I get involved in this? Aren't I smart enough to like not join a cult? Apparently not, you know? And I had all of this, like a lot of very like shame-inducing feelings about myself, which I don't have anymore because I have done the research and I have done the education and I do know what these are and how they work now. But in that moment, I felt like, how could I be so stupid? Not only did I join like a pyramid scheme, but apparently it's a cult too. And I knew from that moment on, at the height of my team, I had 75 women underneath me, not directly underneath me, but even like just underneath people that were underneath people underneath me, etc. I can't even tell you how many people I have converted who said, I started listening to your podcast because I just didn't want to be like that mega hun you talk about, like that really horrible, immoral, unethical person. So I decided to listen to your podcast so that I could just be the opposite of all the examples you were giving. And in that realization, I was like, she's right. This is a scam and it does not work without the deception factor. And they end up leaving. So I don't know. The education's out there. I try to make it fun. I try to make it easily accessible. It's always free to find and watch. So, you know, if you're thinking about joining, you know, I would say run. And now we've got a pyramid, but it's one of people telling their truth and like getting the facts out there and protecting new generations from getting stuck in these scams. They've been legal for over 40 years. Like, the best way to let people know that these are scams is to tell them. And so my hope is that my daughter's generation, she tells me all the time, I'm Generation Alpha, but I'm so proud that I am hoping that generation never even has to ever join a pyramid scheme.